In fact, they are even lucky that INEC started early to deregister them. I'm telling you. This INEC would have been allowed them to commit that blunder. Then somebody will now go to court and the court will nullify all the election, all the money they spend, everything. Because I said it earlier. I don't need to be told what, as long as it has to do with court. There's no way Abure can validate whatever he's doing with Labour Party today. It's not possible.
When you say they are lucky, is it the Labour Party as a party that's lucky or the individuals?
Abure and his group, those people that are flouting court order. I'm not joking. They are flouting court order. So I don't need anybody to tell me what will happen at the end of the day. If they have gone on with that election, somebody will just go to court and then nullify everything they have done. The court will admit their concerns. The court will admit. Remember what happened in Rivers State in 2019? Remember, where A.P.C did not participate in any election from presidential to the state assembly because they did not follow due process. Remember. So I am not new in this and I know what will happen. That's why I was advising Obi, don't step inside that place.
Okay, now Barrister, does it look like the crisis in the Labour Party has been settled with this stroke of
course,
by INEC?
Of course.
So essentially, Nigerians should understand that, look, Abure is no longer the national chairman of the Labour Party.
Of course, all the shenanigans have ended.
Okay, so
and in that regard, the Supreme Court for that matter.
Okay, in that regard, so does it look like P2B is going back to the Labour Party?
Well, that decision is left for him.
For him, okay.
It's left for him because the way things stand now, the space is beginning to be crowded. Everybody is now angling for one position or the other.
In Labour Party, right?
In Labour Party. Remember that is already there.
But Dati Baba said he's going to throw his weight behind Peter Obi if he's to, vie for the presidential candidacy without him as a running mate. So when he said the place is crowded, but Dati, for one, is one person that's been talking in favor of Peter Gregory Obi as far as Labour Party is concerned.
That was before this new development from INEC. Now that Abure has been shut down, let us see if there's any other resistance in that party.
All right, let's bring Prince next.
Something that is happening. Now that there is a possibility that Obi will come back full swing to the Labour Party. And like I said, something is happening within the polity. With the A.D.C negotiations and all of that, Obi had said, look, I'm going to do only one term and move on. Now, the state governor says, look, anybody that tells you that, look, any politician that tells you I'm going to do only one term is telling you lies. And Obi said something. Obi replied, let me just put it out there. According to him, my one term 4-year vow is sacrosanct. One of the greatest American presidents, Abraham Lincoln, served only 4 years. Yet his legacy endures as a model of principled leadership. Another iconic figure, John F. Kennedy, did not even complete a full term. Yet his vision and ideals continue to inspire generations. In Africa, Nelson Mandela, revered globally as a symbol of justice and reconciliation, chose to serve only one term as president of South Africa. Despite immense public pressure to stay longer, his decision was a deliberate act of leadership, a statement that power must serve the people, not itself, indeed.
All right. Sorry, can we hold on to that? Because that's our third conversation, actually.
Which is?
This conversation. Yes, this conversation about the one term, two term, one term. Yes, one term.
The barrister won't be there, so I would like to have your brief take on that.
Okay. Now, let me tell you, I will advise Obi to stop talking ahead of time. If you check very well, Soludo was not referring to Obi. Go and listen to the context of that statement.
Okay.
Okachukwu said he will take one term in Anambra, and Soludo is telling him that look, if you take it will alter the political permutation in Anambra. That was why he said that thing. Go and look at it. He didn't mention P2B. The only thing that it was a coincidence that it had to be when P2B was talking about one term. Because if you go and look at that statement, that campaign, whatever, Soludo was not referring to P2B specifically. But now, P2B have replied ahead of time without even looking at whether it is for me or for Okachukwu. If it is for Obi, Soludo wouldn't have said it will alter the political permutation in Anambra. That after him, Anambra Central will take. Go and look at it. So that's why I say it's not for him. Then two, Obi saying that he will take one time and start making reference to John F. Kennedy, Mandela and all that. Mandela served one term just because of ill health. It's on record. John F. Kennedy was killed in office. It's on record. So those permutations does not add up because it's not even in our constitution. It's not there that you must have 2 terms. The constitution recognizes that you serve one term. So why are you talking about it? That you serve only one term, as if you are entitled to 2 terms.
Okay.
But you want to take only 1 term.
All right then.
Those questions does not add up. It doesn't. It's just that we are progressing in infamy.
Okay.
Some of these conventions is affecting our polity. That when you enter, you must have 2 terms. Even if you are not doing well, you must have the 2 terms.
All right. Thank you very much, Barrister Darlington Agomo. I appreciate the fact that to Rauf Arẹgbẹsọla, interim national secretary of the African Democratic Congress (A.D.C), over his recent political activities ahead of the 2027 general elections. In a fiery tweet, Onanuga accused the former interior minister of betrayal, reminding him that Tinubu was responsible for his rise from a struggling party man to commissioner in Lagos and later governor of Osun State. Well, Onanuga described Arẹgbẹsọla's current alliance with the opposition forces as perfidy, insisting that anyone who turns against the president at this critical time will face consequences, more like a threat. Well, he said no politician could repay good with evil and get away with it, warning that Tinubu's camp will not fold its arms, while former loyalists attempted to undermine the political structure that brought them to prominence. Arẹgbẹsọla, once a key ally and political protege of Tinubu, recently collapsed his Omoluabi progressive bloc into the A.D.C, where he now serves as interim national secretary, a move widely interpreted as positioning himself against the ruling All Progressives Congress in the build-up to 2027. His defection has unsettled Tinubu loyalists, who view it as an act of disloyalty from a man once considered as part of the president's inner cycle. Well, we still have with us Comrade Honorable Nixon, Prince Nixon Okwara, who joined us virtually from Port Harcourt. And in the studio here, we have Mr. Nonso Emecheta. He's a scholar and a political and current affairs analyst. Good morning, Nonso, and thanks for staying with us. I think we also have Honorable Comrade Ibrahim Momo, who joined us from our Benin station. Gentlemen, thanks for staying with us. Okay. So let me start with you here in the studio. This is more like a threat coming from the president. Like, look, if you people are anybody that has been part of Tinubu's political family and is working against him, then now will face the consequences. Is that the kind of statement that should be coming out from a ruling party? Doesn't it look like a threat? What is this democracy? What has this democracy become? You know, where we see people threatening others. If you do this, this will be the consequences. This is not the first time. You recall what went down between Felix Moka and Peter Obi. You'll be held responsible, or you are going to have the consequences for your actions. You blame yourself for whatever happens and all of that. What does that speak to the kind of political democratic culture that we are trying to build?
Thank you. You know, first and foremost, I want to start with the anti-democratic statement by saying that he made him the governor of Osun. For me, what that simply tells us is that the Osun people were not part and parcel of that process, that the President Tinubu imposed people on the, that's Arẹgbẹsọla on Osun people. You know, telling us that you made somebody. What that tells us is that you are not a Democrat. You impose somebody against the will of the people. Is it now telling us that the people of Osun State, the Omoluabi, did not come out en masse to vote for Arẹgbẹsọla? In other words, the president is now telling us that in all the states in Nigeria, he has been putting his boys all along against the will of the people. That's how I'm interpreting that statement.
That is what it looks like.
That's what it looks like. Because what that tells us is that because of his presidential ambition, he has been, imposing governors against the will of the masses because of the fact that he's trying to gain national traction and dominance across the country.
In Nigeria,
and they call him a Democrat. And again, to answer your question is very simple. You know, people often say that you don't buy the finger that fed you. But Arẹgbẹsọla is saying here that, you know what, this is a leprous finger. And when you are being fed by a leprous finger, you will bite that finger. That's the truth of the matter. And again, we should be very, very careful in this country to be able to distinguish between, subjection to political servitude and unquestioning loyalty or allegiance, and principles and what I may call personal conviction. Arẹgbẹsọla is an ideological based, is somebody that has ideological compass. It's ideologically based, yes. Very, very ideological. No, sincerely speaking. And this is a tabligh, a Muslim of note, somebody who practices his religion. And he felt that, no, as somebody who rebranded Osun State.
How much of ideology does Rauf Arẹgbẹsọla have before he became a protege of Tinubu, from becoming the commissioner to now the governor in Osun State? And then are you saying also on this table that we'll have to rule out the fact that most of the prominent political elites who have in Nigeria are product of godfatherism in one way or another?
Well, first and foremost, Tinubu has been accredited as somebody who rallies around, the best brains. And for him to have brought Arẹgbẹsọla on board, he would have seen something very exceptional in him. So it's telling us that I've never, go and check the history, even the likes of Yemi Osinbajo, the attorney. This guy is credited to have, to have this political magic wand to assemble the best brains.
All
So
right.
do you want to tell me that Arẹgbẹsọla was a liability and he picked him to come and join him to
What
build
happened to his
Lagos?
ideology before he decided to be, someone who can be forced or being imposed on the people of Osun State from what we're getting at this particular table this morning from what Bayo Onanuga said?
There is a level to what somebody can tolerate. Arẹgbẹsọla is somebody that, in fact, at a point, they were saying that if anything happens, anytime President Asiwaju leaves office, that this is the person who has all it takes to replace him in the southwest. And again, the fallout between Tinubu and Arẹgbẹsọla shows, lack of leadership, because there is a way you have somebody from your inner circle, and you are not able to manage your, your field or whatever crisis you're having with it. That shows leadership ineptitude, because the closeness of Arẹgbẹsọla to Tinubu is not somebody that you should allow to go that way, irrespective of what transpired. And again, this is somebody that has a lot of followers. You see the way people welcomed him now when he returned. We saw the video that was everywhere on the social media. So also it was a tumultuous and rousing ovation for him. They received him. So that shows that this man has his own followers. And again, don't forget that when you have followers, you don't want to do anything that will make you lose them. So because of that, he felt that, no, you know what, I cannot sacrifice my loyalty for to lose my supporter just because I'm trying to, as a political protege, I'm supporting my political godfather.
All right, then let's, Prince Nixon, let me come to you now. What does it say of the person of Arẹgbẹsọla, one, to turn around and bite fingers that fed him? Some, whether they are leprous or not, but at least he ate from those fingers. What does that say of his person? That's on one side. On the other side, what does it say of the person of the president? The president, President Bola Tinubu, when those that were once loyal to him are turning around. And this, it's not the first time this is happening. It's not just happening with Ogbeni Rauf Arẹgbẹsọla. It happened with Oshinbajo, all right? It happened with Fashola in Lagos. It happened with former governor Ambode in Lagos as well. It has happened with a few other people. What does that say to the person of the president when people that he basically helped to get to positions turn around to fight him?
Matter of fact, what I have to say here is depends on the context people are looking at Bayo Onanuga's statements. Well, if you can view it as a threat, you can view it as also reminding him that in politics of reciprocity, it is not an emotional thing, it's a structural. So when that loyalty is something that when you betray it, you are inviting consequences. There are consequences. There could be image issue, there could be some consequences of political damage, there could be some consequences of moral breach, or moral, people perceive you as somebody who has no moral value in the society. So when we look at the statements of this nature, we must be able to actually either look at it from whichever perspective. I don't see it as a threat per se. And to the person of the president, I want to tell you that he is not perturbed about the person of Arẹgbẹsọla and whatever, because he has his strong followership even in Osun State and Lagos State. So whatever the Bayo Onanuga is trying to say here is coming to the fact that this man rose politically from commissioner in Lagos State to a governor, leveraging the Asiwaju's political platforms and all that, and he's coming out to bite a finger that feds him. It's definitely every act of political betrayal will come with severe consequences. It's not a threat, it's a fact. It has happened in so many political climes and countries, even in Nigeria. So it's a speech in politics, it's political statement, and you are reminding someone where you are coming from and telling him that, come from this perspective, this is what you're going to face for doing this.
I would like for you to respond to the other question I asked. What does that say to the person of the president when those that once walked with him turn around to work against him?
As a matter of fact, this is not the first time somebody is betraying those that really help them to climb the ladder of the political ladder. So the president himself is always somebody I know. He will always tell you, I expect nothing, I expect anything, I expect everything.
So could that mean that they've seen things that that they felt like, look, we can't continue working with this individual? Should Nigerians be concerned when an individual loses, when people that work with an individual lose faith, lose trust in him? Should we be concerned having that person as our leader?
Not at all, because some people, when it comes, we look at the average number of those. Asiwaju still had large followership of those who are loyal to him for so many years, and none of them gone. So if there is one person with inordinate ambition and he wants to achieve his ambition in a different way, it is his personal decision. It does not affect the political family of President Bola Tinubu and the perception of Nigerians who also enjoys his political social capital in Nigeria. So I don't see that as having any effect on the person of Mr. President.
Now, Prince Nixon, when you say you don't see that having any effect on the person of the president, first of all, you also say that the president is not perturbed. Bayo Onanuga is the spokesperson of the president. He doesn't speak for himself. And he has spoken for the president. And you turn around to say that the president is not perturbed. Why so? And when you talk about loyalty, should one be loyal to a person or to a cause? What is the difficult in understanding or in trying to understand that, look, Arẹgbẹsọla said, look, the path that you are trading, I don't like it, and I have to chart my own path. Does that amount to disloyalty? Does that amount to betrayal that will warrant a presidential spokesperson to start issuing out threats? I have not seen anybody who described it as political statement. Everybody has said that this is a threat, and it comes out as a threat. So what do you say?
What I'm saying here is Bayo Onanuga, apart from being the spokesperson of Mr. President, has also a right to defend and respond to people who make unguarded utterances against his principal. And when you look at it from the perspective Bayo Onanuga is coming, I still maintain that it is not a threat. I see it as a statement of fact. Betrayal begets serious consequences in life. Moral, image, value, and so many things about the person. Political redundancy, and there are dire consequences.
So you're saying on this table, Prince Nixon, that even the persons who also, according to what we've seen, history also have it moved from supporting a particular individual to moving over to the camp of your principal, whom I believe, you support as a sort of A.P.C as a party, that there will be consequences also coming up for them. Because from the appointment that the president or present president also have people whom Nigerians have come up to say that they beat the fingers that fed them sometime in one way or another, joining the camp of the president at this point in time. So are we going to see, consequences now befalling them too?
I want to tell you the two scenarios here are not same. One is this. Bayo Onanuga could see his call to serve under the president's, the current leadership of the country as part of service to the nation. While this person, the other person that is Arẹgbẹsọla is also trying to find a way in his self-preservation in politics, which I feel has his rights over that. But Bayo Onanuga coming in to serve with the president currently, leaving his former boss, does not amount to betrayal at any point in time, but could be seen as a loyalty to service. Because once the president is sworn in, he becomes the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. He has the right to pick anybody that can do the job, irrespective of your political leaning or your ideology.
Okay.
Or what's the better?
All right.
All right, Comrade Ibrahim. Let's have your thoughts now, Comrade Ibrahim.
Well, I've been smiling through the.
I could figure.
Because first and foremost, loyalty is not stupidity. Loyalty is not servitude. It's not senility. It doesn't make you a mad person or that you are now subhuman. Loyalty ought to be to an ideology or to a nation and not to an individual. So we give it to the current president, Bola Tinubu. He's a political machine, like we call it in political science. He's somebody who is well grounded in the arts of politics. Yes. But I think it was your guest in the studio, or maybe among the hosts, that made the point explicitly that Tinubu has a very uncanny, he has a very unique quality. He has the ability to pick out the best brains and bring a coalition of good, strong minds or intelligentsia to work for him. And that's why he is up there when it comes to Nigerian politics. He has a knack or the ability to tap the very best from all fields and bring them to his team. So that if Arẹgbẹsọla had no value, he would never have gotten that high. Arẹgbẹsọla was the henchman for Bola Tinubu in the largest local government in Nigeria, Alimosho. When Tinubu was governor, is that a small person? Arẹgbẹsọla was governor for 2 terms in Osun State at a very difficult time, when states, including Osun, were unable to pay salary, but he still commanded the kind of loyalty that even Tinubu's preferred successor, our current minister for blue economy, could not even get Ghana, which is why that one lost just after 1 term, and Arẹgbẹsọla ruled for at a difficult time. Ordinarily, Arẹgbẹsọla would have lost elections. Because at the time he was even paying half salary or 50, I can't remember, that 50 or 60% salary, that's what he was paying. a very difficult time because you need to build infrastructure, you need to modernize Osun. You know, he still got 8 years complete. The one who was getting of course, when President Buhari came, he was funding governors, was giving them money literally so that they could pay worker salary. That one could not win the contest. So Arẹgbẹsọla is not me personally. So nobody should downplay its capability, if it's rich in politics. The other point to make is that I understand where Bayo Onanuga is coming from. They see the threats that Arẹgbẹsọla poses in the southwest. So he could use those kind of very strong words. He used perfidy, betrayal. He even drew on the fact that he's a Muslim and a religious man, even in that tweet. So you could see that I can understand where he's coming from. This is a big fish. But they had this coming. They had this coming. For 8 years that Arẹgbẹsọla was minister, was it not a persona non grata in Osun when for the 4 years the current minister of economy was the governor, and even to the Tinubu camp? What effort? Even Arẹgbẹsọla campaigned for the election of President Bola Tinubu. How was he repaid? So I think that they know, even if loyalists want to use kind of expletives or try to downplay his personality, they know the kind of threat that Arẹgbẹsọla is.
So are you saying that A.P.C at this point in time is jittery? Are we seeing A.P.C being jittery of this the A.D.C and the talks about coalition or even possible measure?
In Osun, at least, yes, they are. Without doubt. And Osun is said to be the state the president is from originally. So in the last election when he won presidency, he lost his adopted state Lagos, he lost his home state Osun in the south. He won other 4. But for me, it feels so. With all due respect, I support Tinubu. I want him to succeed as president. But these are facts that we can I don't think anybody can contest. Okay. He lost Osun presidential election. He lost Lagos, where he is the godfather. There's something there, even if they don't admit it.
Okay.
Now, this is what you are going to see. 2027 election. You see all these threats now. Yeah, you are seeing. Reasons why we keep telling you that those governors decamping to A.P.C. These are similar reasons. This threat now. If Arẹgbẹsọla is not serious, not relevant, it does not have it. Why are you scared? Arẹgbẹsọla, you made him. It means just like that first one said that, yeah, that is the political system in Nigeria. That's how it works. That is not the wishes of the people or the state where he contested an election. Now somebody is saying that he made you, I made you. It means that you imposed him on the people against their wishes by saying, just like Okpebholo now in Edo State, that is imposed. He imposed Okpebholo on us, on people of Edo State, denying the wishes of Edo people. That is just it. And now, it's not you made Arẹgbẹsọla cannot continue to stay with you because you made him, for example. This is not just Arẹgbẹsọla. At some point, everybody have agreement and disagreement at some point, no matter the relationship you have with the person. At some point, you guys will fall apart. Do you understand? But because you make somebody or you were once, it doesn't mean when you do wrong next time that the person should not connect, should not talk, the person should not react, the person should not see what you are doing, should continue supporting you, either good or bad. Ideologies are different. Now, Arẹgbẹsọla feels that this was not the plans. These are not the plans of A.P.C, or this is not the plan. This is not how it should be. His people is suffering. So they decided to find an alternative way to rescue Nigeria. And now you are threatening. Do you understand? So now look at the other man saying this is a political statement. No, this is not a political statement. This is a threat. This is a threat. No matter how you try to defend this, it's a threat. Betray Tinubu and get whatever you want. Whatever you say, you take it. Just like Okpebholo did. This is a threat. Tinubu lost election in Lagos State his whole time where he says he's brute. I think they say he's from Osun State. He lost election there too. That election, when his popularity were yet to be tested, that he built Lagos, that he wants to replicate the same thing. Now, Nigeria tested this person, the capacity that he does not even have a vision. He's careless about this governance. Governor is different from president. Do you understand? So now, Nigerians said, okay, is it this time after testing his capacity, his ideology, that it does not, this is not what Nigeria wants. Is it this time that hungry Nigerians want to go and vote for Tinubu to remain in power, to continue suffering the citizen? No. So you are going to get an issue like that election, before election time, this threat. I even pray that as time goes on, something should not happen to some of these candidates. We could remember what happened in Lagos at that time. I was still small, 2006. What happened to Funsho Williams in Lagos State? 2006, 2007, yes. What happened to Funsho Williams in Lagos State? That's why, and it happens many times. That should not happen to any of the political candidates in 2027, because we know what these people can do. Do you understand? So it's only God. Anyways, you've seen it. So please share this video and please subscribe to this YouTube channel. I'll be your guy so that you don't miss updates like this next time. So if we live in the country, all these statements now, these statements, they are threat of life. Somebody should not fall down and watch these people to make all these reckless statements, threatening people just because of what, and nobody is going to caution them. Nothing is going to happen to them. They say it, they are the ruling party, they get away with it every time, many times. This is not once, this is not twice. That Bayo Onanuga is threatening people. I think that one, threatening of life, threatening people's life is part of his hobby. Do you understand? So I just 27 election will come and go. We shall see the winner, and they go keep us alive. Anyway, appreciate this video.